Welcome in Commanders family to Commanders Postgame Live. It is week 1 versus the Cardinals. I am Brian Colbert here with Brian Mitchell, my guy Logan Fawcett. And guys, what a roller coaster of a week 1 that was. Let me get your initial thoughts, Brian. We'll start with you.
It's let's do something one day where we're not so damn stressed. Okay, I was absolutely stressed today, but you know what? They came out with the victory, made the plays when they needed to. You can't be nothing but happy. Santana ended the pregame show by saying, "I just want to win." We got that.
Just want to win, and I feel exactly the same way. I think when you look at this game, it was up and down, up and down. But what I like about it, B, is they had some adversity, and they stayed the course, right? It didn't look good there when they went into halftime. They came out, they clawed, they scratched, and that tells me there's something to build here on, which is exciting.
Totally.
And that's really the most exciting part. You mentioned that adversity and being able to overcome that, right?
Yep.
We had turnovers, but what happened when we made those turnovers happen? The defensive came in and did not allow too many points to get on that board. How important was the defense and their playmaking today?
They were unbelievable.
That's the easiest question you get on.
You're going to find out later on. We have the players of the games, and both of them from the defense. Okay? Let's just say it like that. But ultimately, your offense is not going to be great all the time. You have a young quarterback. You have an offense line trying to find the chemistry and find themselves. But when you have a defense that can constantly give you the ball back, don't give up points, you have a chance to win the football game.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think, this team is built on defense. Look where all the draft capital has been allocated the last couple of years, and that group came up. There was a sequence there before Montez Sweat's fumble where John gets a tackle for loss, Payne gets a tackle for loss, Montez gets a sack force fumble, and so you couldn't generate a lot of offense. It was a big struggle, right? But all of a sudden, defense steps up, makes those plays when they got to make them. And, that's how this team is built. That's the construction of it, and that's awesome. And that those guys finally were able to kind of come in and take over a game the way we've always wanted them to.
They haven't held a team to that many points since 2016.
There you go.
When they held the Cardinals to 24-6, and they came out and the Cardinals allowed it again.
And we're going to talk a lot about the offense and defense, but let's talk about the 12th man real quick. Fan base right here. They came out in the rain. They're loud, they're excited, and that is what we want to see each and every week from them. And while the fans are behind us, let's get the fast play of the game. Time for the fast play game presented by the Maryland Lottery. Play fast, win fast today. Please play responsibly. And guys, this fast play of the game is our
mesh concept, so receivers
Sam
from the left going to the right.
Shook it all off and ran it in there and got us the lead. Sam Howell, talk about poise under pressure.
Yes.
Talk about poise when things aren't going right. Sam Howell made the play of the game that mattered. Talk about this play right here, Brian.
Yeah, his most important skill may be the fact that he doesn't get riled up or get shaken up by much. He sat there, he saw it, and when he went for it, he went for it. Sam Howell is athletic. People don't talk about that a lot. They talk about how strong his arm is because he's a little shorter. But the guy is athletic, and right there, that play, that's the only play he had, and he got a touchdown for us.
Yes, sir. And
yeah,
Logan.
Absolutely. So one of the things I noticed is that they played a lot more match coverage, a little bit more aggressive in their coverage structure, and it wasn't always pretty. It wasn't always clean, and that's kind of what happened there in the red zone.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of covered up. You got to make those plays, right? When the defense has their back to you, find something, make it happen, right? And that's exactly what he did. You mentioned the athlete. Underrated feature of his game for sure.
There you go, totally.
And you talk about Sam not only being able to athletic, not only be able to run the ball, but he also moved the ball a lot. I think in that first quarter, 6 different receivers touched the ball. How important is that to have that depth and have all of these weapons for a guy like Sam Howell?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable for something like that to happen because Eric Bieniemy is not going to have one guy. A team can figure it out when you have one guy. But when you have multiple guys catching the ball, now they got to cover the whole football field. And as this season goes on, you're going to find out how important it is because they're going to light a lot of people up.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, when an offense is one-dimensional, when an offense only has one player, it's really easy to kind of take that away. But when you're diverse, when you're a West Coast offense, that's outstanding, right? Because you can. It's not the player getting the ball; it's the concept getting players open and the quarterback reading the concept and deciding where the football should go. So I really love the fact that was represented here in that first couple of drives. And again, it wasn't always the cleanest, but I think there are signs and things you can take away that are very optimistic.
And you talk about that diverse play. Well, that doesn't happen without a strong rushing attack, right? We talked about that two-headed monster coming into this game. Let's talk a little about Brian Robinson Jr. and Antonio Gibson.
Brian Robinson ran the ball hard.
Ran it hard, man.
I mean, he is a battering ram, but ultimately you want to get a little bit more space from the O-line sometimes in the running game. But Brian is a tough dude, and I think ultimately when you have that type of running game, you're going to – listen, our receiving core may not get the press, but they're as good as anybody else out there.
Yeah.
And I think as the season goes on, you're going to see that. Number 17 is a superhero. He showed up. Nobody thought he would play. I knew he was going to play from day one. The guy is tough. Terry's going to lead that crew. They're going to do some very special things this year.
And let's talk about Terry a little more, right? Didn't get the targets that we expected. Fans were a little concerned about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why that's not as important of a thing when you get the win and when you can get other guys involved. Logan, we'll talk to you.
I mean, I think Terry would be the first to tell you. Like, Terry cares about winning the football game. And whatever it takes to get that done is how – this was an ugly win offensively. I think if you look at the offensive side of the football, wasn't very clean, lots of turnovers, right? And that's not good football, right?
No, not at all.
That's not good football. But – you're able to kind of make the plays when you got to. Sam's 2 touchdowns in the red zone, great job. He mentioned Brian Robinson's rushing ability to start that drive in the red zone that leads to the score. He has 3 consecutive runs, right? Everybody had to kind of do what they needed to do and contribute where they needed to. So it's not always clean, but when you get the win, it makes everything a little bit sweeter.
All right, now listen, I don't got just y'all with me. I got these fans with me as well. You know what, this brother right here, my brother died for some airtime, so I'm going to put you on the spot. How you feel about this win today?
Hey, man, it was well needed. HTTC, man, it's a new organization, man. We here, man. Let's go.
All right, baby.
And y'all can hear and feel the excitement. That's what it's all about. That's what all week one's about. And we're so happy we got to win. And now a big part of that is also the coaching staff. Right now, we will be going to Coach Ron Rivera soon. He's not there yet, but we will be showing y'all his presser. Guys, let's talk about the coaching, specifically Eric Bieniemy. We said it wasn't a beautiful offensive game, but what did you see from him that gave you a little bit of promise for the future?
Well, what gave me promise is they had all those turnovers, and they still won by 4. And the fact that they had those turnovers, you talked about it earlier, 6 different people touched the football early. You're going to have that type of that scheme going out there. You're going to give yourself a chance. If this team does, like I said earlier, if they don't hurt themselves or beat themselves, they're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
They tried to beat themselves today, but they didn't. They got the victory, and I'm looking forward to a lot more.
Yeah, I think for me it's like you see an analytical approach to the football game, right? Everyone said, they got to come out and run the football, but what I liked early is they said, we understand that's important, but we can get to some of those kind of shorter, lower leverage plays off of the passing attack, right? Quick game, bubble screens, and that to me is very forward thinking in terms of the philosophy of football. And that's something that I think you can build off of moving forward, because you're never going to be the way that they formation, the way they use personnel here. You're never going to be a hyper efficient rushing team, right? But what you can be is efficient enough, right, B?
Yeah.
And so it's the passing game, that philosophy, the distribution of the football. I think you say, man, there's a lot of things we can build on moving forward, and especially if we clean up protecting the football.
Yeah.
And we have the luxury of talking football all off season.
Yes.
We have all these expectations. We have all these things that we're looking for. What surprised both of you, Brian? I'm going to start with you.
Well, the thing that surprised me were the turnovers. I watched them in practice. If something happened, it was corrected. It was discussed. So ultimately for me, I did not expect them to go out there and play like they did. They were doing things very well in practice because they're held accountable. Today, I think it got to some guys.
Yeah.
This moment, because early in the pregame, I was wondering, can the players match the intensity of the fans? And I saw that some people were overwhelmed by it. As it goes on, I hope they learn to let it be just a part of it. You don't have to go out there and become something else when you're playing football. Just do what you do and do it consistently, and great things will happen.
Yeah, I think for me, offensively, when you look at what was going on, I think you see the ramping of the offseason, right? Preseason's a little bit faster than training camp. And then the week 1 is definitely faster than preseason.
Totally.
And you could see there were some guys, specifically I'm going to say Sam Howell, and it just was happening so quickly, right? They're bringing all these kind of simulated pressures, they're bringing real pressures, they're bringing it all out, and you could tell it was just a little fast, right? But what you love about him, you said this, B. Mitch, not phased, right?
No,
unfazable, unfallible. There's the word I'm looking for, right? So love that element, but again, this is something you can build on. You say we have the film now, we've gotten game reps, and so for me, I think Sam Howell has shown you at every marker he just gets better and improves. So it's nice for all that learning to come in a victory, even though it wasn't the cleanest victory of all time. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It was an ugly win. But you know what you do in ugly wins? You have a chance now to go and make corrections, and players are willing to accept it. They're not going to be upset when the coach say, hey, we got to correct some things. Yeah, coach, cool. Because if I can win an ugly game, I am willing to get better so I can go out there and win some pretty games.
And you guys, you know what? That was great analysis, but I thought we was getting coached, but we're not getting coached. So I have one more question for you guys. Because you guys have played in big moments. Talk about the moment being maybe a little bit too big.
Appreciate them coming out. We got to be a better football team for them, though. We had some opportunities that we didn't take care of the ball the way we should have. but we will be better. And I really do appreciate the fans coming. I really do. And I also want to acknowledge that it was great to see John Riggins in the stands. It really was. That was a really cool moment. And I really appreciate him being there. But with that, what do you got?
Well, first, playing off what you just said about the team, obviously you got the win, you want to get the win, but you sound disappointed about how things maybe unfolded.
I am, because we had opportunities. I mean, our guys, they've been working hard, they've been practicing hard, they've been getting better, and for us to make those kind of mistakes, that was disappointing. And I know we are all disappointed, but we're all thrilled. Believe me, I'm happy as hell we won. I really am. But we got to play better. We really do, because again, we've worked hard, we've done things the right way, but details we got to be better with those.
And then with all that's been going on here, the sale and everything, what this day meant, what did this day ultimately mean to you guys? And I guess did Josh get another game ball?
Yes, he did. He got his, as will all the other owners. They got their first victory, the first one that during the regular season, and it's something to remember. It really is. It was a hard-fought game. It's a heck of a young football team over there that's scrappy, and I promise you that they're going to give a lot more teams some trouble. But again, I'm just like I said, I'm thrilled. I really am.
What did you make of Sam Howell's performance?
He had his moments, and again, we're going to watch the rest of the tape, and we're going to take a look at some things, and we'll evaluate it off of the tape and get a chance to talk with him.
The defensive line in the second half, Montez Sweat and Deron Payne, what did you make of their play? And did you feel like those guys were the ones that kind of brought you back in it?
I think the unit did. I really do. I thought the way the unit played as a whole on defense, I thought that was outstanding. I really did. I mean, they played hard. They made plays when they had to. They gave us opportunities, created field position, put us in scoring position. I mean, did the things that you're going to do right now, because as a group that's been together, for the most part, fourth year in the system, so they're going to be a little bit ahead. They're going to carry us a little bit, and they know that. But our offense is going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work really hard, and EB will get right back at it. I know he will. And I promise you, this is just the beginning for us. We got a lot of growing to do.
What stood out to you about the crowd?
Oh, I love the enthusiasm, the excitement. I heard their disappointment as well. Okay, and I respect that, obviously, because we have to do things better.
What stands out to you that needs to be better?
Well, we got to protect football first of all. In some of our decision making, and again, just I'm going to get a chance to really take a look at the tape and just see the things that we need to focus on and get corrected.
Clearly there's some frustration here, but you look at that first half, obviously didn't go as you wanted, but the resiliency to kind of dig down in the second half to turn this game around, especially late in the third quarter, you were behind and you kind of flipped the game.
No, and that's one of the things that comes from the resilience of the way that they practice. I mean, this is something that our coaches have done. I mean, they've preached it, they've pushed our guys. We've had those practices where things just keep going and going, but yet they didn't quit. And that's one of the things that's really cool about it is these guys, they know, they really do. They believe in themselves, but we can't beat ourselves.
Sam was sacked 6 times in this game, maybe a combination of offensive line. Sam, what have you saw? Obviously you didn't see the tape, but from your view on kind of on the sidelines there.
That's exactly it. I'm going to wait till I see the tape before I draw any conclusions. I'm not going to indict anybody. We're going to go ahead and evaluate and look at things.
Coach, what was the mood and the message at halftime?
More than anything else is just, hey, we got to get it going. We got to go out and make plays, and that was one of the things that we all talked about. We talked about going out there, bowing our necks, being resilient, and getting after it. And that's the thing that I think our guys really bought into, especially when you look at the way the things happen on the defense. They're the veteran group, and they're the senior group, and they bowed their neck. They had our team's back, and they did a hell of a job.
The Arizona Cardinals had 11 possessions. Your defense had either a sack or a tackle for loss, or both sometimes, on 10 of those 11 drives. How important is that for your success moving forward?
That's huge. I mean, because that gives us an opportunity to be successful. It really does. And those guys are, they're just kind of, solid guys. I mean, they get it. And as we grow and get better and better as a team, we'll see.
Ron, how did you think the secondary held up during the game?
I thought the secondary had some great opportunities. They really did. They put themselves in position. Unfortunately, we dropped some interceptions. I mean, our guys, you could see them, anticipating, breaking on the ball, putting themselves in position to make those plays. And, we have a chance. We really do with those guys. It would have been great. I mean, I could see those balls, just unfortunately just ricocheting off us. but I really thought they held up. Again, I think what our coach has done with them has been a solid group. You know, last year you saw the growth at the beginning of the growth, and I think they've just continued it into this year. So hopefully we can continue to get better.
When you challenged, what did they say the ruling was when you challenged? Because the replay looked like he got to the 34.
Yeah, the explanation was they couldn't tell where the ball was in relation to his elbow being down. I thought the elbow was beyond and the ball was in the arm. That, you know, but that's what I was told.
Hey Ron, was there a moment today where you really felt that crowd impact or maybe a home field advantage because of the crowd?
There were a lot of good moments. I mean, you could see the excitement build. You know, our first score, you could see the way they really got after it. When the defense started to really pick things up in the third quarter, and you could feel that our defense was feeding off of that energy and just getting stop after stop and creating negative plays for them. And I think our guys really fed off of that energy. They really did.
Coach, on one of your final drives, you took over at the Arizona 22 after the second takeaway by Sweat. You guys went run, field goal.
Mm-hmm.
Was that just your confident in the defense if you got to 4 and Arizona wasn't scoring a touchdown? Did you think about a kill shot there to try to get a touchdown?
Yep, all those things were taken into consideration. At the end of the day, you know, Coach Bieniemy decided to just keep it on the ground and grind it out. And I had no issue with it. I'd had no issue if he wanted to throw the ball. You know, again, I'll let our coordinators do the game, you know, accordingly. If I have something to say, I'll most certainly tell them. But again, I trust our guys. You know, they work their butts off and they do a hell of a job for us.
What do you think of the O-line today?
I think they had their moments. And again, when we evaluate the film, we'll get an opportunity to have a better feel for how things went.
All right, thanks, Coach. Last one. The sacks with Sam. Is some of that on him not getting it out? Is that?
Well, that'll be, you know, we'll get an opportunity to take a look at the film and see what happened.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. We're going to have Sam Howell.
Hey, shout out to Coach Ron Rivera, man. Great first win. Win's a win. Nothing better than that. You can tell he was excited. Now, if you want to hear more from Coach, check out the Game Plan with Ron Rivera. It's exclusive access to Commanders head coach you won't find anywhere else. Coach and Logan break down game tape, and it's really good stuff. You can watch every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. on WUSA 9 and catch full episodes on our YouTube channel. Now, coming up, we got a lot more. Sam Howell will be going to the press, our quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
QB1 will be going to the press. Can't wait to hear from him. We'll be talking more Commanders football.
Have fun, sis.
Can't stop adding stuff to your cart? Get the Bank of America customized cash rewards card. Choose the online shopping category and earn 3% cash back.
In-play betting, because a lot can happen in 4 quarters. You can wager on the spread, game props, player props, totals, and the money line. Bet365 is the world's favorite sports book for many reasons, and play betting is just one of them.
Are you on your way?
Yep, coming.
And Mom and Dad?
Don't worry, they'll be there.
Happy anniversary!
Go beyond the expected with the #1 most dependable mass market brand 3 years in a row by J.D. Power. Kia, movement that inspires.
One bag.
The winter play was really coming together. Until disaster struck. Tensions were high. Luckily, replacement costumes were shipped with FedEx, which means Mr. Harvey could picture the perfect night. We're ready for the holidays, so you're ready for what's next.
Dad, we're gonna be late.
Can't stop adding stuff to your cart? Get the Bank of America customized cash rewards card. Choose the online shopping category and earn 3% cash back.
Welcome back, Commanders family, to Commanders Post Game Live. Look at this play by Sam Howell. The kid got an arm on him.
Not many people can make that pass right there.
That is a beautiful pass. Logan, what you see in there from your quarterback?
Yeah, man, I thought in this sequence, man, they did a really good job with this 3-level throw to the field, right? You kind of get the switch release off the line of scrimmage. You get good leverage to the out-breaking route. Love that concept, and they were really successful with it, man. And that's something that I think they can build on moving forward. Because again, not the most efficient game from Sam, but he did have a lot of throws like that to get you really fired up.
Yes, he did. You look at that pass right there. Like last year, you didn't see a lot of passes thrown to the edges like that.
Yeah.
That arm strength right there was able to get that ball.
And to me, it's not even so much the arm strength because Carson's got a howitzer. It's the release,
the
quickness the ball jumps out of his hand, right?
Go.
Fifth step, ball's out, and it's not like this big, long, drawn-out release process. He's throwing darts, right, B? He's throwing darts.
And this is a guy that we are going to see pretty soon. We are waiting on his pressure right now. He is not there yet, but we are going to keep giving y'all Commanders action until then. Now, guys, you talk about that arm strength. You talk about his poise. Sam Howell, is there anything you guys saw from him that you say, okay, let's improve on moving forward? We want to talk the positives. We also want to talk about what we can work on so we have even better a game in week 2.
Well, 2 things I saw. He holds on to the ball a little bit long sometimes. And when you're going to hold it, you have to make sure you're sure of holding the ball. I had a coach tell me, ball security is job security.
Yes.
And I think that's the ultimate thing. If you look at this game today, Sam did some damn unbelievable things. But when you are rolling out and you let the ball go and it ends up in the end zone going against you, not good by no stretch of the imagination. He has to protect the football a little better.
He for sure has to protect the football a little bit. And what I would just kind of look at is like there were times where the concept's dead and knowing when the concept's dead. Saying, hey, man, I can't win this down anymore. And a win for me now is throwing the ball away or tucking the ball and running. Not trying to be that superhuman, Herculean effort where I'm spinning out and making plays. Just playing in the timing and rhythm of the offense and being okay with not completing every single ball, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, and I know you played quarterback B, and I know that's really challenging to do, especially for a competitor like Sam. But there are times where the defense is going to win the down. And today, especially coming into week 1, Rich Gannon came with some stuff that he didn't really show in Philly.
True.
And that's surprising. And the concept isn't ready to handle that. So, hey, man, throw the ball away. Let's live to play another down. 2nd and 10 is better than 2nd and 15.
The great philosopher Bobby Boucher said,
Bobby
live to play another day.
Live to play another day.
Or another play.
And speaking of plays, we had a new play caller. And I think fans need to understand that as well, that Sam Howell is working with a different offensive coordinator, a new offensive coordinator. Logan, you've had a few offensive coordinators.
Yes.
What is that like when you have to come in week 1 with a brand new system and try to execute?
So I think if I was going to say, it is challenging. It's extremely challenging. You can learn what's on the paper. You can learn where the line goes. Hey, that's a 7-yard out with an outside release on the go. But the details of it be like understanding, hey, versus zone, I can throttle this out. Or, hey, versus man, I can come back friendly to the football. And every single player has to learn something like that. Or, hey, in the slide, man, versus a 3 technique, I can be a little bit more aggressive at center. All those things, that takes time to build. So I think you're seeing kind of the foundation, the scaffolding of the offense, and at some point the foundation's going to get poured, the drywall's going to go up, and it just takes time and reps working together. But what I will say is they are very, very talented, and usually that process happens much quicker with a talented group.
And, of course, we got to talk about the negatives, but let's also look at the positives of what happened when Sam Howell had those mistakes, when he had that costly fumble that gave up a touchdown. What did he do? He came back and he drove for points.
Did a great job.
How great is that, Brian, to see your quarterback
B's been talking about this all the time. He's been talking about it every day, right?
Yeah, I've been talking about a lot about him bouncing back. And we talked to his offensive coordinator calling the plays, Eric Bieniemy, and he said they're going to make mistakes.
Yes.
He said, I don't care about that. I want to see how they respond to it. And if you watch the way Sam Howell plays, he normally doesn't make the same mistake twice, and he responds in a positive way. You saw his coach didn't stop throwing the ball because things happened. He kept giving it to him, kept putting him in situations, and he stood up. You have to do that, and ultimately you'll start to see he'll make less and less of those mistakes and more of the positive outcomes.
Yeah, I think people need to understand this is a growing process, right? Like everyone thought, oh, man, he looks so good in preseason. But every week it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be different. He's going to see new things for the first time. Like today they brought a simulated pressure. They simulated a 4-man overload to the right, and they brought 3 to the left. Like he's thinking he's hot there, but you're picked up, man. And you could tell it kind of got his – and he's got that rep in the CPU now, and he won't make that same mistake again. But what I do love is he's composed. He's mature, and you just love that in a young player who's, 23 years old? Like that's awesome to see. So.
And, Logan, how cool is it to see Coach Eric Bieniemy still go to the well, still allow Sam to throw, still trust Sam to get back there in that pocket? How cool is that to see?
Well, the thing for me is, like, they just had that fumble for a touchdown, right? You've kind of been dominating the game from a defensive standpoint. They get their first points, like touchdown, off of an offensive mistake. And, a lot of offensive coordinators come out, they run the football with 55 seconds left in the half, and EB's out there slinging the rock, man.
There you go.
And he had 3 chunk plays, got them down to field goal range.
Yeah.
And when you look at the scoreboard, that's the difference in the game, right? You could have gone turtle there. Ben, man, let's live to play the second half.
Yep.
But no, man, we got to get points, and I love that philosophy that he's, you've met him, B.
Yes.
He's always attacking.
He's aggressive,
always
man.
aggressive, and it's good that he didn't shy away from that in the biggest moment of the game.
And I think that's why he works so hard in practice. He expects them to play at a higher level with a greater intensity, because there's going to be moments in the game when I need you to do that. And I understand that we can, because we've done it in practice.
Absolutely.
They have to practice the same way they want to play. You can't go out there and hit a lot, but you can go at the speed you want to do in the game.
Love
and
it.
Eric,
Yep.
he pushes that over and over again.
And you mentioned that second half, right? Well, let's talk about Eric Bieniemy a little more. Making that adjustment. They did not run the ball a ton in that first half. There was not a lot of pressure to run. They were having defensive linemen come back in coverage because they didn't really need to load that box. How was it to see Eric Bieniemy make that adjustment for the second half and say, you know what, we're going to trust these running backs?
Well, I think for what I saw in preseason, well, against the Browns, they came out and they threw the ball. They did a lot of the different formations and things. And then all of a sudden, when things got a little tight, they started running the football.
Yeah.
I think Eric understands that this offense already has a way of running the ball. Offensive linemen like to fire out.
Yep.
And when you're being a running game, you're being aggressive. When you're passing, you're more passive.
Yes.
So once they go out there and they try the passing game, if it's not working, let's go to our bread and butter. And then we'll come back to it. If they come out and they start throwing on people and they can't stop it early, they're going to light them up.
Keep going.
I guarantee you they will never stop doing it.
And I'll say the other thing I thought about that was that I thought it showed a really a deep maturity from Eric Bieniemy, because he doesn't want analytically to be running the football a ton. It's not a very efficient play, right? There are more efficient plays, but I think understanding where the game was, how well your defense is playing means, hey man, we can slow this down a little bit. Let's take our time. Let's run the football. Let's be a little bit more conservative. And to me, I think that takes a very aware mind from a young play caller, right? That's something Andy Reid got burned 2 Super Bowls ago when they lost to the Patriots, right? And then all of a sudden this last Super Bowl, when they needed to have it, they needed to slow the game down, they'd run the ball. So that experience, that exposure, I felt like showed up a little bit today, and that's awesome, because it's his first game calling play, so that's great to see.
And even with all that experience, right, there's still conversation about his play calling. Will he be able to handle play calling? What was he really doing now in Kansas City? Do you feel he answered some of those questions today?
You know what? I don't think he had to answer those questions, because I played for Andy Reid, and I think Andy and I have a relationship to where I don't have to think when I ask Coach a question he's going to lie to me. And I called him and I talked to him, not on the radio or nothing. I called him on my phone. And I'm like, Coach, does Eric call plays? He said, yes. He said half of the things he designed that we run, he's the one that finds it and designs it. So for me, I can care what the knuckleheads say around the country. They guessed, they think, but the man that's sitting there with him, he's the one that put Eric in the position. He's giving him the credit. If Andy Reid says he's doing it, that's all I give a damn about.
Yeah, and I think that's something I've felt the whole time, right? If you are good with the preparation in the week, calling the game is not hard. If you've made the right selections in the week, every play is good. It's crazy how that works, but like when Kyle's on, every play's hitting, right? Kyle Shanahan I'm talking about now. It's like, oh, running this, and so there was a play early in the second quarter where they motion Terry across the formation to the tight end side, and they run a cross release, and Terry's wide open because he's working on a guy with outside leverage. He gets a nice pick from the tight end. That's not something that we drew up on the whiteboard on the sideline. That's something that was in on Tuesday.
There you go.
And we repped it versus
probably
different looks
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and we knew how and when to call it. And I think that's where he's excellent, and that story that B. Mitch told just supports that entirely, right?
Yes.
It's not on the day. It's in the week when I've studied and found, oh, hey, in cover 2, they line up like this. We can get these guys, and that's exactly what he did today.
We all watched the Super Bowl. We saw the guy come from outside, and he went in motion, and then he put his foot in the ground, he came out. Nobody went with him.
Right.
Eric Bieniemy, Andy Reid saw that play when Jacksonville ran it.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Jacksonville ran the exact same play against them. And boom, he runs it in the game. It works on this side, and he came back early in the game. He ran it on the other side, and it worked again.
Yeah.
So you have a guy who's out there putting in the work. But so many times, a lot of people in our business, we like to go out and speak about what we think instead of what we know. And they said what he didn't know, and they don't know what the hell he does know. The man knows how to watch football, and he can call plays. He's very good at it, to be honest with you. But when you're playing under Andy Reid, it's kind of hard to get the credit.
No.
As long as Andy is sitting there, somebody think like when your dad was teaching you how to drive, and you're riding, and he'll reach over and pull the wheel back. Okay?
Yeah.
You're still driving, but he's enhancing it for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people think, that when something went out of line, Andy was helping. But how do you grow?
But that's what I was about to
Yeah.
say, B. Like, that's how you learn how to
That's
drive. You know what I'm
exactly,
saying?
man.
And who's better to learn from than maybe the best offensive mind in football?
There you go.
Who's going to make those corrections for you and say, this is the way, man?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you see, and that's why I'm so excited. And I think some of the issues today was because they have a young offense. You know what I'm saying? And that'll just clear up as we go. So.
And guys, I'm so excited too. We have so much more to talk about. We have weapons, we have defense, and we have Sam Howell coming to the podium next after this break. This is Command Center Postgame Live here at FedExField in front of all the fans, baby.
You're going to like this story because it's about you. You who forgot to charge your phone last night. You who sprints to the boarding line so your bag will fit. You with him. Until one day you boarded a United plane that was designed for, well, you. And your phone got charged, your bag fit, so did everyone else's, but this story isn't about them. Your toddler didn't tantrum, and you got to fly happily ever after. The end.
Hey, it's me, food. I'm so much more than just what we eat. I'm hand-cut, fresh and frosted. Aw, I love you too. See, life is always something new. All messy, frantic, and amazing. And from where I sit, you look delicious. That's why every day is worth celebrating. If you can. Stay fresh. Sincerely, food. Sincerely, Safeway.
This MLB season, FanDuel is taking you out to every ball game. New customers get a no-sweat first bet and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win.
The design is stunning. The power, breathtaking. Turbocharged to chase down dreams. With an instant top prize of $50,000. And a second chance top prize of $150,000. More than enough to buy a real Corvette. The new 2023 Corvette Cash Scratch-Off from the Maryland Lottery. Take it for a ride.
What you looking for? My financial wellness. Bro, stop searching. Go Northwest. I went to Northwest Federal Credit Union, even better than a bank. I'm actually really building my savings now. Savings? How much? We're not gonna find it in there. Try here. Bro, stop searching. Go Northwest.
Experience the performance of Toyota Camry, from TRD to all-wheel drive and hybrid. With comfort and control. To travel your way and arrive in style. Right now, buy a Camry and get $750 finance cash. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to Command Center Post Game Live. Now it's time for today's Never Ordinary Play presented by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And our big play for this, guys, is, you guessed it, Terry McLaurin getting his 300th reception, 300th career reception.
Wow.
Got that in week one. How big of a milestone is that, Logan? You were catching balls out there. How big of a milestone is that?
I think I have 91 catches in my entire career. So that's pretty good. I'd be pretty happy with that. But I think it just speaks to his level of work ethic, his professionalism, how dominant he's been for so long, since he's gotten in the league. So that's great for him, and congratulations, Terry. 300, that's a big deal.
He's a guy where I've talked to guys in different areas, and everybody say he can play with them.
Yeah,
because the guy puts in so much work. He has everything. He has tough. He has grit. He can run routes. He doesn't miss a lot of balls. And I think, you just congratulations to Terry.
And you talk about that grit. He wasn't necessarily supposed to play today.
Yeah.
He has been dealing with an injury, but he came out here as a leader for his guys. Talk about that a little more and what that means to you from your big leader right
I think everybody in that locker room, they understand there are certain people that operate different ways. I don't think many people inside the locker room question would Terry play or not?
Yeah,
I think people.
Did you question?
I didn't,
because you know what type of guy.
Yeah, I know the type of guy he is, and they allowed him. One thing that Ron does, he allows his veterans to take their time because he know they're going to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And when you look at Terry, a lot of people outside of the sport, oh, it's a turf toe, he's going to be out forever. No, somebody else might be out forever, but Terry McLaurin will not be out forever.
Yeah, no, it just he's got a precedent, right, of being a physical, tough guy, like kind of like B. Mitch, like that any era thing. This is one of the things, man. When I got in the league, like if you didn't play hurt or injured, like you weren't going to play in the NFL, and so I think he embodies some of that traditional football toughness. And there was no question in my mind that he was going to play tonight. Like there was no question. That's just the type of guy he is. You know?
His journey is different than most.
Yes,
he was a guy that went to college and had to go,
earn it.
Send him back home for 2 weeks to figure it out again, and then come back at Urban Meyer and say, well, now we can give you a chance.
Yeah.
He was a guy that wasn't drafted first round. He was drafted in the third round to be a special team guy.
Yes.
But 1 week in the camp, they knew he's our top player. He's our top receiver. And when he gets on the field, I think Terry, just like when somebody give you money, you normally you don't respect it as much.
Yeah.
When you earn it, you respect it. That man earned his money. He earned his job. That's why he respects it so much, and he gives so much for his team.
And Terry definitely earned it. And if you guys just now joining us, we are waiting for Sam Howell, our QB1, to join us at his presser. We're talking way more defense. We're talking way more weapons. Now, let's stick to Terry real quick, right? We're talking about his leadership. Only 4 targets today.
Yeah.
Is that a cause for concern, Logan?
Well, I was going to say there was only 31 dropbacks today, right? And I think that when the offense is not in ultra rhythm, it's hard to get to some of those calls deeper down the play sheet. You're always kind of in like these backed up third down situations. Like when an offense is really ticking, they're not in a lot of third downs. They're in the meat of their playbook. And I think what you saw today was an offense that wasn't quite ever settled in, right? They never quite they did some good things. They made some nice chunk plays. I'm not saying it was bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it never got in the flow. And so I think when the offense is in the flow, he's going to get more touches. Also, I'm not sure that this offense is going to like target one guy that way. You know what I'm saying? I think because the nature of the West Coast offense, the quarterback's got to make the right decisions. And when that happens, like even though he's the number one read on the play, the defense might take it away.
All right, guys, listen. We got Sam Howell here. The moment we've all been waiting.
We could have played a lot better. Just credit to our defense. Our defense kept making plays all day long and gave us the chance there at the end to, put some points up to give us the win. I just think offensively, we were moving the ball well. Just turnovers, penalties, sacks, just a lot of things I think I can do better. But definitely a lot to clean up on the offensive side of the ball. So we're excited to go back in this week and watch the film and try to learn from it.
Sam, 2 plays, the strip sack fumble, and then the touchdown run at the end. What happened on each of those plays?
Yeah, the strip sack fumble. I was just trying to, I felt some pressure up front, so I was just trying to spin out of it and break the pocket. And the guy kind of got me from behind. I wasn't expecting him to get me. But in that situation, backed up down there, I just got to make sure I protect the football. At the end of the day, throwing the ball away, you can live with that. So definitely got to do a better job. And then on the run, I kind of just went through my progression and didn't like what I saw. So just tried to, take it with my legs.
You said you felt like the offense could be better. What did you feel like was missing today?
Yeah, I just think too many mistakes. I think I had some mistakes for sure in the game, and I think everyone was kind of taking their turn of different mistakes. And I just think collectively as a group, we got to be better.
Do you feel like the offense could feed off the defense's momentum in the second half?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, I think there was some situations where we would like to get points where we didn't. But yeah, they kept giving us a chance, kept giving us a really good field position. So yeah, we're thankful to have good defense.
Charles Leno just said in the locker room he loves you because doesn't matter what just took place, you come right back and go, I don't care. Let's keep going. Where does that come from?
Yeah, that's just how I was raised. Always, kind of have an even keel mentality. No matter what the result of the play was, it's always about what's next. That's kind of how I've been my whole entire life, and I'll continue to be that way. And that late hit early on, did you get dinged up a little bit? Yeah, I mean, he got me pretty good, but it didn't hurt or anything. I think the refs or someone called in and said they needed to check me out or something. But, yeah, it's football. Things like that are going to happen. I was trying to get out of bounds to avoid that hit, but I kind of got slowed up. But, yeah, it's just football.
Sam, they always talk about your ability to self-correct and also understand why maybe a play went wrong. What are some things that you learned, whether after the interception or any of the other plays that didn't go your way, that you can take going forward?
Yeah, I just think I could have played cleaner football. Obviously the turnover, trying to do too much in the pocket, and I think I could have thrown the ball away on some times. I took too many sacks, and just trying to get the ball out quick and taking what the defense has given me. It's hard to say right now until I go back and watch the film, but I'm just happy we got the win.
Were there any plays for you that stood out? The run, the touchdown to Brian Robinson. What did you see on those plays?
Yeah, the first touchdown to B-Rob, I kind of broke the pocket. And he did a good job of finding a lane, and I just saw a little lane where I could give him a ball. So those plays are things that we work on in practice, scramble drill and stuff off schedule. And I think that's a big part of this offense. So I was glad to see that today.
Sam, a couple questions about the mental side of things. Coming out of halftime, obviously the first half didn't go as well as you wanted to, and then the weather kind of picks up, being an interference. How do you, as a young leader, kind of focus in those moments and get your guys rallied together?
Yeah, obviously it's hard. We faced a lot of adversity, but just coming out of the second half, I thought in the first half we moved the ball well. We just kept shooting ourselves in the foot. So we knew we could come out and move the ball. Then it starts raining and stuff like that. Just a lot of things were in the way of our success. But me as a leader of this offense, we just gotta find a way to push through that stuff. And as long as we just do our job and not worry about anything else, then we'll be successful. So definitely would like to be better next week.
And then after the rushing touchdown, the celebration, the throwing of the ball, felt like there was maybe a little bit of a stress release in that effort. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it was a tough game, and like I said, a lot of ups and downs. So to finally get in the end zone and get some points and take the lead was definitely a cool moment.
Sam, last year when you start kind of random out of nowhere, they're going to play. Now you are the guy. Did it feel any different? Did you notice anything different about just getting ready in the game itself?
Not really. I just think I had more time to prepare with my guys and more time to practice as the starter. But yeah, I wouldn't say there's much different. I try to go into every week. Even last year when I wasn't playing, I try to go into every week like I was a starter. So whenever I got that opportunity, I'd be ready to go.
Sam, even before the rain, how was the grip on the ball in this humidity?
Yeah, it was fine. Honestly, when it just rained and it's kind of humid, the grip on the ball can sometimes be really good. So I thought until it started raining, it was really good. And obviously I think we had one or two drives where it was really tough on us. But I just got to find a way to battle through that stuff.
Specifically, what happened on the interception?
Yeah, I think the ball got tipped. We had Jahan open, and I was trying to hit him, and the ball just got tipped. So unfortunate play for us, but that's just football.
Sam, you helped deliver the new ownership group its first win. How do you feel about the overall state of the franchise?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think just coming into FedExField today and feeling the energy and seeing the fans, they were awesome today. We have the best fans in the world, and just obviously there's a lot of momentum with Mr. Harris buying the team, and it's just such a great part of this organization. So we're just going to try to continue to keep getting wins on the field.
Got time for one more? All good?
All good. Appreciate it, guys.
If you like hearing from your favorite players, don't miss the Players Club. Washington legend London Fletcher and Santana Mars join us, one of your favorite current Commanders, every Saturday night at 11:35 on WUSA 9. You can also watch the show on our YouTube channel and download the podcast wherever you get your podcast. Now, we got a lot more going. We talked a lot about offense, but the main attraction tonight was the defense. So we are going to get into that when we come back. We got more Commanders Postgame Live for y'all soon.
Hey, grab me one too.
Hey, Marissa, what are you doing?
Searching
For what?
my financial wellness.
Stop searching. Go Northwest. I went to Northwest Federal Credit Union, even better than a bank. And they hooked me up with totally free financial counseling to help me manage my money.
Totally free?
Totally free.
I feel my financial wellness running through me already.
Whatever works. Stop searching. Go Northwest.
When adventure calls, answer in a Toyota RAV4. Equipped for a range of capability, ample cargo space, and to keep you connected. Right now, buy a RAV4 with low APR financing. Toyota, let's go places.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception? First down? Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
One bag.
The winter play was really coming together. Until disaster struck. Tensions were high. Luckily, replacement costumes were shipped with FedEx, which means Mr. Harvey could picture the perfect night. We're ready for the holidays, so you're ready for what's next.
Welcome back into Command Center's post-game live. Now, if you're a podcast fan, we have a couple of good ones you need to check out. Every Monday, Fred Smoot and Michael Jenkins get loud about the Commanders and pretty much any other topic you can think of. Those guys are all over the place in the best way. On the Command Center podcast, Logan, Fred, and Santana do a deep dive into the Commanders matchups. It's the best insights you can get on Commanders football. Check them out wherever you get your podcasts and over on our YouTube channel. Now it's time for It's the Toast of the Town, presented by La Chemin de Ra. How'd I do, Brian?
Chemin de Ra.
Champagne and Branson Cognac, the official champagne and cognac of the Washington Commanders. Welcome back in, guys. Brian Colbert Jr., Brian Mitchell, Logan Paulson. Now, guys, we've talked a lot, but the one thing we all want to hear, all the fans in here want to hear, who are y'all players of the game?
Dude,
start with you, Logan.
For me, I got mine in first, so it was really easy. It was Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat with the big sack force fumble that leads to points, leads to the 7 points. Obviously, the fumble recovery, kind of forced fumble where the quarterback muffs the snap at the end of the game. He was all over the field. Those were 2 big plays, but he was all over the field creating pressure pretty consistently. And this is something we expected from him this year. He was kind of poised for a big year, contract year, and it looks like he's finally – it's one game, so I don't want to get too crazy with it. But I'm pretty optimistic that he's going to have a very productive year. And this is the first of many player of the games to come.
And we start talking about starting off fast, and Montez did that. But I think a lot of times we see the sacks, we see the fumbles and things like that, but there's a lot of people inside that's causing a lot of that and happening things up. And I think right now you got to look at Deron Payne. Deron Payne started off just like he left off last year. The young man is out there getting double teamed, but you know what? He's penetrating. He's making quarterbacks have to hold on to the ball. They can't step up into the middle. And he's also stopping running plays just like this play right here. Ultimately, those 2 guys led the way today, but you can see other guys coming later on, guys like Jonathan Allen, they will be doing, but Deron Payne today is mine, player of the game.
How interesting to see 2 offensive players give love to the defense, and I'm sure that's something we're going to see quite a lot.
Hey, we know a lot about what's tough football, and a lot of times your defense has to win the game for you. And you look at the amount of times we gave their offense opportunities.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Our defense went in and stopped them, held them, did not give up touchdowns and things of that nature, which allowed the offense to get a little bit more time to get their act right.
Yeah, I mean, really, we are offensive players. We know what good offense is, and this wasn't quite to that standard yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we won this game is because of the defense.
Now, I got to take some time to promo a little something. That's my baby, Command Center, my new show. I am so honored and excited to be the host of Command Center, hanging out with Logan, Fred, Santana Moss, and London Fletcher every Thursday, giving you all the Commanders insights you need before game day. We have a lot of fun. We talk about some cool stuff, and we're always trying to mix it up for you guys, so we're really excited about what we have for you this season. Check that out on our YouTube channel every Thursday. Now, guys, we got the Pisano's Pizza.
Oh,
2
my
slices
gosh.
for 2 touchdowns right here. Now, I don't know if I'm going to share. I'm hungry. I've worked up an appetite today. My first show got me real hungry. All right, so let's see. Let's bust these boxes open. Let's see what's up.
All right.
We got in there.
We got pepperoni.
Pepperoni.
Now, listen, I know I put food in front of you guys, but I'm going to still ask y'all some questions while there's food in front of you guys, okay? Now, listen, what are y'all final thoughts before we head out of week 1, our first game of the season? What are y'all final thoughts?
I'm happy. I mean, we got a victory. It's not going to always be pretty, but you went out, you started the season with all the hype coming from the fans. There's no way we could have lost this game and be thrilled. I'm thrilled now. I'm looking forward to next week, and I think they have a good opportunity. Ron and his coaching staff can step to the players right now and correct everything without any player being upset. You won the game.
Yes.
So you're willing to be taught to.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like win, most important thing. Very excited. I think this is a good first step, though. Arizona wasn't the best team of all time. It's a good opportunity to say, hey, man, these are some things we could do better. These are some areas we can improve on. We can be tighter with these coverages. We can be more effective with these route concepts. But a win's a win. Excited about it, but there is a lot of growing that still needs to happen with this roster, and I think the staff understands that. I think the players understand that, and I'm excited for what they're going to bring in Denver next week.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I try to focus on what you guys are saying, but I cannot get over the smell of this pizza. Remember, Pisano's 2 touchdowns equals 2 free toppings. And fellas, I think that's a wrap for us.
Man.
Week 1. I had so much fun with you guys. Thank you guys for having me here. I cannot wait to hang out with you guys all season. The fans, y'all have been great. It's been so good to see y'all. Y'all turned up for us, even though it was raining. We will see y'all next week. Same place, different time.